Assalamualaikum and a very good day. Today we are going to do a new chapter which is percentages. If you look at your textbook, Collins textbooks, this chapter is on chapter 2 and we have covered from 2.1 until 2.3 last semester. Therefore, in this class we will cover start from 2.4 until 2.8. Okay, so there will be 5 subtopics that we need to cover. The first one is calculating percentages. Second one is increasing or decreasing quantities by a percentage. Third one, expressing one quantity as a percentage of another. And fourth one is simple interest and compound interest. And the last one is reverse percentage. Alright, for the first topic, we are going to talk about calculating percentages. I think you are familiar what does it mean by percentages. If in bahasa, percentages means peratusan. Okay, symbolized by this symbol here. Every percentage can be written as a multiplier. So what is multiplier? Let's have a look at example. If you have 5% here, okay, 5% is just 5 over 100, which is just equals to 0.05. So the multiplier for 5% is 0.05. For 7%, it will be 0.07. For 10%, it will be 0.1. For 88%, it would be 0.88. And for 100%, it is going to be 100 divided by 100, 1. So basically, if you want to find the value of the multiplier, it's very easy. You can just observe. So divide with 100. You do not have to do the workings here. You can just simply directly write down the multiplier, right? Okay. Right. The next concept. If we have increased a quantity, a certain quantity is increased by 5%. So it means that the quantity increased by 5% means that we have 105%. In terms of percentages, in terms of multiplier, increase by, remember here focus on increase. In terms of multiplier, it become 1.05. The next concept, if it's decreased by 5%, so decrease by 5% means that you have 100%, decrease by 5% leaves you with 95%. In terms of multipliers, decrease by 95%, it becomes 0.95. Right? So basically, there's a difference between increase and decrease. Just take note that increase and decrease. How about increase by 7%? Means that becomes 107%. Therefore, the multiplier should be 1.07. Decrease by 7% becomes 100 minus 7 becomes 93%. In terms of multiplier, it becomes 0.93. Again, the two of this is increase, the two of this is decrease. Right, the next example, Increase by 10% means that it becomes 10%, or in terms of multiplier is 1.10 or just 1.1. Decrease by 10%, in terms of percentages becomes 90%. In terms of multiplier becomes 0.9, corresponding multiplier. So for 88%, increase by 88% means that we are going to have 188%. So the multiplier should be 1.88. Decrease by 88% means that we need to check 100 minus 88, you should get 12%, and its corresponding multiplier is 0.12. Right, for the last example, increase by 100% means that you have 100%, you increase by 100 more percent means that you have 200%. So the corresponding multiplier is 2. Decrease by 100% means that it leaves you with 0%. The corresponding multiplier, decrease by multiplier, is just 0. Okay, let's look at example question. Calculate 15% of RM 300. Okay, basically we can use two methods, either using percentages method or the multiplier method. If you look at the first method, I will name it as method 1. 15% of 300 is just 15 divided by 100 times with 300. So simplify things, you will get RM 45. Now we look at method 2. Where we use the multiplier. We know that the multiplier for 15 is just 0.15. So multiply with RM 300. You press your calculator, you still get RM 45, the same answer. That is when we use the multiplier. Right, for the next question, number 21. Number 2. Calculate 21% from 180 centimeter. Again, for method 1. It's just 21 over 100 times with 180 centimeter. You should get 37.8 centimeter. So for method 2, the same process, you use multiplier. Okay, multiplier for 21% is just 0.21. Multiply with 180 centimeter, you should get the same answer if you press your calculator, 37.8 centimeter. Okay, the next subtopic is increasing or decreasing quantities by a percentage. So we are going to have a look at examples. So the first one, what multiplier is used to increase quantity by 10%? In this case, the first question, the key word here is the word increase. So means that there is a rise in the quantity value. So if increased by 10%, in terms of percentages, it becomes 110%. In terms of multiplier, it becomes 1.10. But the question wants you to answer just the multiplier, so the answer should be 1.10. Right, the next question, B. What multiplier is used to increase quantity by 3%? Means that in terms of percentages, becomes 103%. So in terms of multiplier, it should be 1.03, but the question wants us to state the multiplier only, so you can erase the percentage. Right, for both cases, A and B both increase. So let's have a look at the next question. What multiplier used to decrease quantity by 20%? Decrease quantity by 20% means that we leaves us with 80%. Okay, so which means in terms of multiplier, we will get 0.8 because 80% is just 80 divided by 100. So it's just 0.8. Alright, what multiplier is used to decrease quantity by 7%? Means that it leaves us with 93%. So in terms of multiplier, we will get 0.93. Now let's have a look at a few example question. So there's many ways to solve this question, but I want to focus on using multiplier to solve this question. Right, Azwan, who was on a salary of RM 27,500, was given a pay rise of 7%. Means that Azwan gets a 7% rise in terms of his salary. So what is his new salary? Old salary is gaji. So maybe he's a doctor, who knows? Or CEO of a big company, so maybe that's why his salary is over 20,000. Okay. Anyways, the old salary is RM 27,500 ringgit. The pay rise is 7%. So increase. Multiplier means that he's going to have 107%, which correspond to 1.07 in terms of the multiplier. Okay. Therefore, our new salary is just equals to 1.07 multiply with RM 27,500. So you can just press your calculator. You should get RM 29,425. Okay, for the next example, a car valued at 65,000. So that is the initial value of the car last year. Is now this year worth 15% less. It's obvious the price of a car will decrease according to you, by you. If you buy a car which price around maybe 100,000, by next year the price of the car might be reduced maybe 15% or more. So which means that our multiplier, decrease multiplier, 0.15% means that multiplier is 0.15. If therefore decrease multiplier is at 1 minus 0.9. 1 minus 0.15, you should get 0.85. But I think let's have a look like this. 15% less means that we have 85%, which is in terms of multiplier, it is 0.85. 0.85. So we can use this multiplier to find the value of the car now. It's just equals to 0.85 times with RM, 65,000. So the answer is RM 55,250. So as we have a new year, the price of the car goes down by 15%. The price is 55,250 ringgit. Okay, now we are going to talk about expressing one quantity as a percentage of another. If you look at our subtopic, we have covered calculating percentages, increasing or decreasing quantity by a percentages. Now we are at expressing one quantity as a percentage. Okay. So it's very simple. Just like look at the example given. During 1 year, it rained in Detroit on 123 days of the year. What percentage of days were wet? So you want to find the percentages of days when Detroit is wet. So how do we calculate it? That is just 123 divided by 365, because 1 year, in a year we have 365 days. So we times by 100%. Okay, so we should get 33.69863%, and we round off to maybe at least 2 or 3 decimal places, but in this case easily see that it will become 33.7%. Right, the next example. In 2009, a city raised RM 14,870,000 in a local tax. In 2010, it raised RM 15,597,000 in tax. What is the percentage of increase? What is the percentage of increase? Therefore, if you look, the increased value of increase is equals to RM 15,587 minus with RM 14870,000. So we press our calculator. So we should get RM 727,000. So let me double check. Right, that's correct. So the percentage of increase is just equals to 727,000 divided by the initial value, which is 14870,000 times by 100. So we should get 4.889%, or becomes 4.89%. Normally for percentage we take at most the least two decimal place. Alright, for the next subtopic is simple interest and compound interest. So we have done basically until the third one. Now we are at simple interest and compound interest. Right. Okay. So what is interest? Sometimes I think most of you have listened to the word faedah. Maybe your parents do talk about faedah or bunga. So these are interests actually. So definition of interest. Interest is the fee paid when we borrow money from a monetary institution such as bank. So this basically borrowing money from bank is known as loan. Okay. You go to the bank, right? Say you want to set up a business, you want to build a shop, right? So you need some money in order for you to buy, probably rent the shop and then buy some goods. You do not have money but you want to start a business, so you need some money. Therefore, you go to the bank. Say you go to maybe Maybank or Public Bank or any banks to loan some money, pinjam duit, loan some money, and the bank will give you the amount of money you required, but they will charge you with some extra charge. This charge is known as interest. Okay, I hope you are clear what is the definition of interest. So the extra charge that the monetary institution like banks charge you when you borrow money from them. Okay, basically there are two types of interest. The first one is simple interest, and the second one is compound interest. So we are going to have a look what does it mean by simple interest and what does it mean by compound interest, and the related formula that we can apply for both interests. Okay, simple interest is, let's have a look. There's a formula that we can use basically for simple interest. It's just I interest equals to P times with R times with T. Right, so I is the interest, P is the principal, can be the value that we borrow. R is rate of interest, and T is time taken. Okay, for example, say we have Rahul. Okay, Rahul has a loan of RM 7,000, right? He needs to pay 2% interest for every month. If he loans for 3 months, how much interest will he pay? So if you take the loan for 3 months, so we can use the formula interest, or I is just equals to P times R times T, which is P is the principal, the amount that he borrowed, which is 7,000. R is the rate of interest. So in this case, 2% per month. So it should be 0.02 times with the times with the time taken, 3 months. So times with 3. The answer is RM 420 ringgit. It means that Rahul needs to pay the bank extra RM 420 ringgit on top, RM 420 ringgit on top of the 7,000 that he needs to pay. So this is just the interest, bunga. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at one more example of simple interest. Lee lends her friend RM 30,000. Her friend agreed to pay simple interest 6% per year. So in this case, our interest is in per year. So our time taken should be in terms of years as well. You cannot have month and year. The interest rate has to be in year. The time taken has to be in year. If the interest rate is in month, and the time taken should be in month. Right, in this case, we have 6% per year and for 2 years. So the interest I is equals to P times with R times with T, right? So our principal is 30,000 times with our rate of interest is 6% per annum per year. So it's 0.06 times with time taken is 2 years. So the answer is RM 3,600 ringgit. So this is the extra money that Lee's friend needs to pay to Lee. Okay. Alright, I want to go back to the definition of interest. Sometimes when we talk about interest, it doesn't have to be involving just loan from the bank. It could be in terms of investment. Okay. Suppose you have RM 3,000. You put in bank for maybe 2 years. Okay. The bank will give 3% interest per year. So by the end of the second year, your money should be more than the value 3,000. Okay, because basically if you keep your money in the bank will use your money to give it to people who wants to borrow the money from the bank. Means that you go to the bank, you put your money, somebody will come to the bank to borrow that money. All right, so the bank will charge interest to the person who borrowed the money, and some of the interest that the bank receive will be given to you because okay, let me illustrate it in this way, right? This is bank, this is you. Okay, so you go to the bank, you put money in, okay, maybe in your savings account, or maybe it could be you just put your money in the bank. So the bank will take the money and give it to someone who wants to borrow for probably business, maybe to buy a car, maybe to buy a house. This is loan. Okay, so when the bank loan to this person, basically they are using your money to be given to the person who wants to borrow the money. The bank doesn't have the money, they just use the money, and they charge this person, charge with maybe 10% interest, which means that when the borrower pays the bank back, okay, they need to pay extra 10%. So if say they borrow 100 ringgit, they have to pay 110 ringgit. If the borrower borrowed from the bank 100 ringgit, he needs to pay back 110 ringgit. And because of that, the bank will give you maybe 5%, and they will take the 5%. So you will basically receive some money from the bank, even though you do not need to work, or you just leave the money in the bank. After some time, you will see that there will be increment in the value of the money that you put because of the fact that the bank use your money to lend to others. All right, so probably you can go through many videos on YouTube, or probably you can ask your parents about the bank loans, because I believe every parents must have at least attempt to do bank loan to support payments for the car, the house, etc. Okay, so all this money is known as interest. Okay, this extra money, right? All right, the next one is compound interest. If you compare compound interest and simple interest, the difference is that for simple interest value per period of time, certain period of time, it could be month, it could be year, is fixed. But for compound interest, the interest is not fixed. Okay, what does it mean? Let's have a look at example. Like Elizabeth invests RM400 in a saving account. Means that Elizabeth put RM400 in a bank. Okay, so that is her investment. Okay, the account pays compound interest at 6% per year. So at the very end of each year, the account will give you extra 6%. Okay, so the next year is the same, 6% again. The next year is the same. So for every year, you will receive 6% extra. So we would say the amount in the account increase by 6% per year. So we can say that multiplier is 1.06. Okay, so I think everyone agrees with that, because there's increment of 6% every year, so the multiplier should be 1.06. Okay, so after a year, she will have 1.06 times with 400, so that should be RM 424, right? That is after a year. After 2 years, she will have 1.06 times with RM 424, not 400, because when we talk about compound interest, you will always look at the interest from the latest balance. Do not take from the initial balance, you take it from the latest balance. So in this case, the latest balance is 424. So again, times with 1.06. This is just equals to RM 449.44. Okay, so after 3 years, she will have again 1.06 times with the last balance, which is RM 449.44. She should get RM 476.4064 or RM 476.40. So after 3 years, even though she puts 400 ringgit in the account, because of the 6% of compound interest, by the end of the 3rd year, she will have extra 76 ringgit. That is if you put 400 ringgit. If you have 4 million, imagine if you have 4 million, if Elizabeth put 4 million in her bank, and then by the end of the 3rd year, she will have an extra of 760,000, I guess. I'm not sure, 76,000, but she will have extra money. So basically, if Elizabeth has 4 million, she doesn't have to work. She can just stay at home and let the bank do the working by paying her the interest that she gained from the compound interest. Okay. There's a formula for compound interest if you Google. So the formula for compound interest there is a formula that we can use to find compound interest. A equals to P times with 1 plus R over 100 to the power of N. Okay. So A is the the amount that we have in the bank. Okay. Basically, the final amount. We will say final amount. P is the principal. Principal. Okay, how do you spell that? Principal, which is the initial amount. Okay. R is the interest rate of the compound interest in year, and as N is the number of years growth. Okay. If we have a look at previous example, okay, about the N and the value of R, if the interest rate is in per month, then N should be in per month. But most of the time when we do compound interest, we will always look at the time frame of a year instead of months or weeks. Most of the time we look at it in terms of per year. Right. If we look at previous example, we will try to apply the new method with the same questions. Okay, Elizabeth invested RM 400. So which means that our P is equals to RM 400. And in the saving accounts, the account pays compound interest at 6% each year. So which means that our R is 6. And how much will she have in the account after 3 years? Which means that our N is 3. So the final amount after, okay, let me write it properly. Final amount after 3 years. So noted by the letter A just equals to, just follow the formula here. P is 400 times with 1 plus 6 over 100, since R is 6, to the power of N is 3. Okay, 3. So basically this is just 400 times 1.06 to the power of 3. So you have to follow B, I, D, and A, S. Bracket goes first, then index, then only division or multiplication. So bracket goes first, then index. So we need to solve the indices first, then only you multiply with 400. So 1.06 to the power of 3 is 400. Okay, let's shrink this a bit because we need more space. So 400 times with, solve this first, you will get 1.092727. So the answer is, let me see, 0.06 power of 3 times with, sorry, the answer is not 1.092, the answer should be 1.191016 mm, you should get 476.4064. So this is just 476.41. Okay, this is 41, sorry, 41. So both methods will get the same answer. Okay, 476, sorry. So both method, if you see, you get the same answer, right? So you will need to do more readings on simple interest and compound interest. Maybe just Google from internet, or there's a lot of videos on YouTube about the introduction of simple interest and compound interest. So we have done with the second last topic. Done with that. Now we are going to have a look at the last subtopic, which is reverse percentage. Okay, now we are at our last subtopic, which is the reverse percentage. Okay, right. There will be two methods to solve these kind of questions. Basically, there are more than two methods, but we just have a look at these two methods. The first method is known as the unitary method. Okay. Second method is known as the multiplier method. Right. So we are going to have a look at this method one by one first. Right. Start with the unitary method. Right. If you look at this question, the price of a car increased by 6% to $9,116. Means that this is your final price after the 6% increase. So work out the price before the increase. All right. If you look at the unitary method, we know that 6% increase indicates that 106% is corresponding to $91.9116. That is 106%. If 1%, then we must have 9,116 divided by 106. So you should get you don't have to find by using calculator, just leave it like that. That is 1%, but we don't want 1%, we want 100%. Means that $9116 divided by 106 times with 100%. Okay, so 100, just 100. So your final answer should get $8600. Okay, I think I will repeat this again. we have 6% increase. So which means that 106% is corresponding to $9,116. 1% will correspond to 9,116 divided by 106. But we do not want 1%. We want 100%. If we want 100%, why 100%? Because we want to find the original price when the price is 100%. Okay, before the increase, the price is in percentage is 100%. So we times with 100 on the left hand side, times with 100 on the right hand side. So you get 100% is equals to, press your calculator, you should get $8,600. So that is your final answer. Now let's have a look at the multiplier method. Right. Okay, if you look at the multiplier method, we know that for 106% means there's increment of 6%. The corresponding multiplier is 1.06 times with the original price. We'll get $9,116. So this is the relationship between the multiplier and the original price is multiplication. Means that if we bring 1.06 to the right hand side, we need to reverse the process. Means that we need to divide. So original price. We just want the price of original, so we need to bring the multiplier to the right hand side. So from multiplication it becomes division. So divided by 1.06. So the answer is again the same as left hand side. So if you press your calculator, you will still get the same answer. So it depends on how you want to do it, which way, it doesn't really matter, as long as your workings is clear. You can either use unitary method or multiplier method in your exam, as long as you come out with the correct answer. Okay, I think I'll stop here for today's video. There will be some exercises given, and you can also refer to your Collins textbook, chapter 2, and also if you have any question, you can DM any teachers. And I think that's it for today. Hope that this video will help you to understand this chapter easier. And that's it for now. Bye bye.